as we've always said throughout our shows and every show, dear ones, is that allow yourself to fall in love and fall in allowance and fall in fluid movement with all of our frequencies, with all of our offerings, if you so desire. And just know that if you allow yourself to understand even somewhat or a portion or a fraction of what we discuss and what we entangle with, then allow yourself to listen to it again and again and again, because there's frequencies that are ready to click when they're ready to click, and it's all divine timing. So you can soak within this unconditional love and trust, which is what we're going to talk about today, and it's a big part of our topic, so that you can allow the divine creator of all that you are to come forward and play and entangle with greater aspects of the grander all that you are, the soul aspect that wants to dance and swim and play. So just know that. Be gentle and soft with yourself, which is what we're flowing into and what we're going to allow ourselves to experience. Because a lot of what we talk about, a lot of our discussions, we take it from the topic of discussion, the topic of knowledge, the topic of all that we've learned and integrated, and we're creating activations. We're creating new sensations. We're creating new vibrancy. We're creating new frequencies and resonance, and that's what we do. Allowing yourself week after week to spiral and spin in loving frequencies from the creators, to create your own sacred intonations and your sacred pathwork and your meditations, and you oscillate with spirit in all things, thought, word, and deed. You understand the depth to all the lessons that you spiral within, and you understand that it might not be just from your perspective, but those that you're entangled with. You allow yourself to thread in a different way, a more expansive way. Then the lessons become bigger and wider and deeper. And you feel unconditional and soft, and you just want to love everything and teach and share and give. That's the shift in perspective. That's the activation from the very heart core of all that you are. And it's all God particle, taking you up to a new level of interaction and engagement and entanglement. For this is what is required as we allow ourselves to expand into new cosmic territory and beginnings. We are anew, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable whenever we can, for that lets down the walls and the barriers that used to keep love at bay. What were we protecting ourselves from? We're safe now. We're in different frequencies. We're safe. So break down the walls and let love in, because you will be shown over and over and over again your grand, vast threading within creation. It's endless and infinite. And I'm reminded by the frequencies, allowing us to understand, as I was allowed to understand in my experience this week of release, and the soul aspect coming forward and saying, I'm ready to let it go, you're ready to let it go, let's move on. The grander aspect, the greater soul aspect of all that I am, allowed me to understand that we are healing ancestral lineage that goes back eons. And that's why some of us has taken on, 3 or 4 or 5 soul braidings, because these are, keely threaded, if you will, in human stories that are requiring to be healed to move into this next cycle. And we knew our souls were big enough and grand enough and deep enough that we could do it. And in unison with our teams and in unison with the healings and the activations that they do and our higher selves instruct, we move through these profound frequencies of expansiveness that are not written in any books, but you can sense and attune to because you're a master. And week after week you show up and you listen to it again and again and again, because there's something within you that just might get something. And the particles are spinning and spiraling, because it's exciting to know that you're infinite, that you are a limitless particle of God. Always new ways to experience life, is there not? There's always new ways for us to look at not only who we are, but what we're swimming in, so that we can then once again expand into new frequencies, expand into new territories, and teach and share and offer. And how may we create together in this new knowingness? How may we soften and let go of our expectations of what we thought? Let go of the understandings of competition. And fear just disappears because it's filled with unconditional love. We transmute it in all that we do. And it's always centered within our heart, always. All of these aspects of understandings, and they've been called many things and defined many things, and we can call it the Akashic healings, if you will, and the soul healings. The Akasha is the storehouse for all of our lifetime experiences. So when we say Akashic triggers, that just means that something in some lifetime is coming up to be healed and to be acknowledged and recognized and brought back into made whole. There's a difference between the soul braiding part because it just feels different. You just sense that's not a frequency that, you've kind of gone through the processes, you've gone through the healings, the releases, and that doesn't feel like it's, it just didn't feel like it fit with the scenario that I was moving through. And so this soul braid came forward and said, you're working on healing other aspects of your wholeness, because there were lifetimes that were cut short and we didn't get to finish the story. So those old aspects are coming to say, we can finish the story now, Joanna. We can tidy it up all nice and neat because you're so profound. You brought me in to love me. You gave me the voice. And so many of you are here because you feel a profound passion to use your voice, to speak in your authenticity. And it's a pull. It's the innate divine discontent that you just want to seek love and seek love and seek love and then share it and express it and talk about it and teach it. Because there's a braiding, there's a threading within you, that there's a contract. And it's the innate pull that allows you to tidy up that story and make it whole. For we're moving into new frequencies of human beginnings. And there's going to be fresh new pages, fresh new beginnings. And we're going to be grander souls and divine creators, mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters of light. And we will be spreading out the cosmos to teach our stories. And they are reminding me that we're understanding these braidings and these threadings and Akashic frequencies. And they're entangled at the celestial level as well, the angelic level, and why we have so much help. 4 aspects of your braiding are the angelics, as we have discussed. Joanna is awakening to the aspects of her grander soul, the journey of her soul, where she has connected with angelics in her soul. And attuning and threading within those frequencies brings her to life, for she remembers what it's like to be angelic, to move about the cosmos so weightless and free, to create on behalf of Mother, Father, God. And you can bring those threadings back to the here and the now, ground them in with the energies of Gaia, and we create heaven upon earth, moment for moment, breath by breath. Because there's a part of you that knows you're bigger than you thought, and you're starting to sense and feel it in every way. Your very existence is being stretched here, dear lighted ones. Do you not feel it? Have you allowed yourself to soak within the potential of how big and wide you are within your existence within the all, and how it's changing and shifting? You're allowing yourselves to go expanded beyond the atmospheres of Earth and Gaia, and yet create unity and wholeness and oneness within all aspects of Gaia and all of her offerings and the angelic forms in the kingdoms and the elementals that create and sustain and maintain life with us. This is how the soul moves, expansive through the universe, through Mother, Father, Creator, coming back through the center point, through the heart, so that you teach and express and give and receive. And that infinity cycle keeps going and flowing, and you ground and you expand and you integrate and you share and you move up, commune with the universe, bring universal wisdoms, and you come back down through the infinity cycle, center it through your heart. Allow yourself to create these cycles of divine creatorhood flow. That's how you create your own oneness, unity consciousness. There's nothing that you're not a part of. We're integrating at these understandings of our current ascension frequencies as a collective. We are integrating the many facets of all that we are. The soul facets, the infinite number of soul facets, we're bringing them in and integrating through the experiences that unfold in our daily lives. Through the mastery that we have learned through the ascension and awakening path work. We're understanding the higher self as the master navigator. And we trust, we hand over, and we surrender. Say, okay, higher self, I surrender. Unconditional trust, I flow with you. And you let go of all the ego aspects that want to manage and control and create stories around, and timelines, and dates. And you just flow with your higher self. Because your higher self understands that there's going to be a soul fragment that's going to come up here, and we're going to braid it in. We're going to bring it in and make whole. But this time you're the one that's going to be the healer. It's going to blow you away. You're going to have no idea it's coming, and poof, there it is. You see life from a whole new perspective. You see your soul and your grandness from a whole new perspective. Your angelic frequencies start coming into play and begin to be activated in the body that you're sitting in right now. Because simultaneously your heart is so open, your soul is so ready that the activations within the DNA come online. They get turned on. You just know what to do. Unconditional trust, surrender. If I had not surrendered unconditionally to Mother, Father, Creator, that occurrence would have never come forward. It's what we've said before in all of our books and all of our writings and all of our teachings. Self-love and trust is synonymous. You trust what's unfolding, and things just unfold simultaneously. There's no planning. You can't plan that kind of occurrence. It's divine. You surrender all that you are, for you trust unconditionally. You don't have to know how it will unfold. You just trust. God, the universe, creation, Mother, Father, your higher self, your team, they know what they're doing. Let go of the doubt, let go of the fear and the questions. Let go of the need to have everything validated. Flow with your creatorhood. And you'll be amazed every time, because you'll be taken to a deeper, wider, softer frequency that is masterful. How awesome it is. When we started out, we weren't sure how we were going to thread all of these incredible, expansive understandings into a palette that would be digestible. And we've come around full circle into feeling the frequencies and then sensations of the creatorhood coming alive within us at the center of all that we are, expanding all that we are in our understanding about the soul's journey, about the myriad of dimensional frequencies that we're braided and threaded with, and how oftentimes we create those perspectives, not only for our own advancement, but for the healing of the others that we're entangled with and sewn with and braided with and threaded with. For it expands the all. These are all heavenly musings, soulful intrigues, so that you may know and rediscover and remember you are not separate from anything. And unity consciousness is simultaneous with all of these teachings. It just is. And you let go of the worry and the fret of what's happening in the political world or in the financial world. For you understand, if you thread yourself with unconditional divine creatorhood love, you surrender into it, you're going to be shown exactly what you need and what needs you. And that's why daily pathwork is so key, because we redefine and we're shown very clearly what we don't require anymore. We can let go of. Whether it's an activity that's been stressing you out, whether it's a friendship that's been too much, that's been taking a toll on your energy frequencies and your time. It doesn't matter what you're shown, but you'll be shown a myriad of things that don't necessarily fit within your new map, your frequency map of where your higher self is taking you. And that's why surrender is so key. Because without surrender, your map only goes so far. Without your unconditional trust, your map only goes so far. Trust is trust. It's got to be a truth. And that will take you wherever you want to go, that you've designed and even beyond. Because I certainly had no idea the release that occurred this week was going to take me where it did. And it allowed me so much compassion for the frequencies that I had felt over the years in my ascension work and the gifts that I was gifted from my team and from my higher self, to allow me to see the video playbacks, if you will. I call them playbacks, but they're not, because they're all happening right here on a concurrent frequency, but just so that you understand how things see or are seen by a visionary. We're sometimes shown things in my third eye, or my third eye area, as little clips of movies or pictures, or moving pictures, if you will. And sometimes they're whole scenes that are played out. Sometimes they're just little snippets that are played out. And I'm sometimes I don't know necessarily what I'm seeing, but I just have the knowingness, the inner knowingness of what's going on. And bit by bit, you're expanded. Your team will expand you in your knowledge and in your information, so that you're handling and grasping what you're being shown, because it's so multidimensional. It's so beyond what we've been told or taught. And that's why it's taken as long as it has. And some of these concepts about these braidings that I've been connected with, I understood a few years ago. I just didn't understand it to the depth and the width that I do now, that I was shown this week. I understood that as, if you say incarnation, that I had these particular incarnations because I could sense their energy, and I saw them in my visions. I saw them in my meditations. They were playing out the stories that we're all here to tidy up and create wholeness and unity with, in my particular experience. All the stories that I'm braided with in the human form. The higher aspects of me and the teams and the celestials and all of my universal and celestial teams that I'm braided with are also threaded in, helping with these soul family stories, with the human stories, so that we move through them. And the agendas and the auspices and the evolution for humanity can continue in the way that it can, because we're having these expansive dialogues about things that we never, a year ago, who would have thought? Do you see how far we've come, dear ones? And why we celebrate who we are as humans? Why we celebrate who we are as expanding beings of light and creators? That even if you may not grasp a portion of what we said or all of what we've said, be soft and soak within the love again. Because at some point, you're going to get an experience that will show you a higher perspective, and it will just click. That's when you turn from the experiential into a whole new frequency of being, that frequency of divineness. You can sense the difference, because you're not just going through the motions. You're not just on the treadmill anymore. You're feeling divine. You sensed your mastery in creation, even if it was just for a moment. But it was opened up to you enough that you trust the process even more. And that's what is meant by unconditional trust. Not to question even for a moment. And if we all moved about life in this way, how much joy and bliss could we have? So wonderful and so lovely.